Okay, Krishna. So I'm humbly requesting all the Vaishnavas that are programmed and able to hear this broadcast about Bhagavad Gita and a little bit about my physics books I like to throw in just to give some modern understandings as to where we're moving forward to as far as understanding and the topics that need to be brought up. Okay, so I'm going to flip through it. Transcendental knowledge is good. So I'm still around there. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, so it says, Vedeshu, Yageshu, Tapashu, Chaiva, Dhaneshu Cha, Yat Punyaphalam Prashidishtam, Adyate Tat Sarvam Idam Viditva Yogi Paramshtanam Upaiti Chadyam. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing austerities, sacrificing, giving up charity, or pursuing philosophical fruits of activities. Simply by devotional service unto the Lord, he attains all these. And that is this end, and that the end reaches the supreme eternal abode. And at the end, so with that alone, he reaches the supreme eternal abode. Do you understand? It's not like he needs to perform all those other things. Many people get into depression. They say, "Oh, what about giving in charity and all this tapasya I heard about, and am I ever going to get there? All these pious works I have to do. I have to go around and save the town and distribute food. I mean, I'm so old now. I only did devotional service my whole life." Krishna says, no sweat. Don't worry about it. You are taken care of. You are fully insured. Okay? All right? And although devotees, they know of these two paths, Arjuna, they are never bewildered. Therefore, always be fixed in me. Okay? So stick to this path of devotional service, meaning Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Shmaranam. You know what that means? Shravanam is hearing. Hearing about God. Oh, God, He's so beautiful. This past time I heard about Him recently, he was in the woods with Devaki and this and that, and he did this and that, and the gopis came out and he took the robes and he tricked them out. You heard that before? Yeah. Oh yeah. No. This Goswami gave a little commentary. That's like that. That's remembering. You're remembering Krishna. And then Kirtanam. You're giving kirtan. You're speaking about Him. Kirtan, Shravan, and Smaran are all together usually. Remembering, chanting, and hearing. These are the three, like the backbones of your devotion. And you have to keep giving them, keep purifying yourself. Wherever you go, talk about the Lord. It purifies everything. It makes everything that's like so, this world, everybody's so superficial. They're so annoying. You get into a lot of that all day, you can see that, trust me. If you're a spiritualist, it can get annoying. But this is the way you get out of it. You got to remember, you're only here for your soul, and for those souls you can help get out of the material world. Because that is more important than anything right now. It's more important than money, than anything you could think of. All these little mundane nimities are not real. When we get to the spiritual world, it's all going to be checked. It's all going to be checked. This is why, if you're not going to do it 100% accurate, it's not even worth doing. It's not even worth doing. Because listen, if you do things 100% accurate, like Lord Brahma, you could eventually attain his path. You could eventually become him, or in his abodes, by doing things for birth after birth after birth after birth. Very, very good, until you're higher and higher life. But who wants to have vrata? Then you just be Brahma. You live for a very long time. You be in charge of the universe. But under all strictures, you have to live very still, very austere still, very into God. You can make things up. You can create your own styles and this and that, and punish people and do all that, and not be, held accountable. But you can't sin. You can also be held accountable. So certain things are still there. And Vishnu and Shiva are still going to look after you. So it's not like, you want to become this evil demon of the universe. Instead, Shravan, Kirtan, Vishnu, Smaranam, Archanam, giving flowers to God. Here, God, please take my flowers. Please take my incense. Vandanam, giving my prayers to God, like palms and all these palms. Oh, dear Lord, you are the greatest, you are the lowest. There's so many prayers in here. So many prayers you could pray like that. Non-stop, giving prayers to God. And then Sakyam, Atma Niveda, give your life and soul to God. That's a part of devotional service. That I'm giving myself to you. I'm not giving myself to anybody else. I thought that girl was nice. And I said nice things to her, Oh yeah, you're mine, baby. But really, God, I'm giving myself to you. Forget about her. She could have my mundane life. I'll let her hold that. But she doesn't know. My heart is for you, God, only. Atma Nivedana, my soul is for you. And by doing also this, you're saying, and if she's feasible, if she's with it, you take her heart and you give it to her too. That's the point of having a good wife or good girlfriend, good boyfriend, that you could also offer their soul. You understand? And you could do that in the ceremony or with your hearts, with your puja, your worship. So there's the things you want. You want to be able to offer yourself and your divine couple, these things, to the Lord. By that, you have a divine fortress. And don't think that you just did it once and everything came. No, it's a lifetime in progress. You just gave it a shadow. You understand? There's always shadow. There's shadow, then there's offense, and then there's pure. So purely is very hard to get. When you give something purely to God, you get the pure name. But offenses is usually where we start out. When we're neophyte, we're starting out, we have a lot of offenses in our understanding, in our conduct, even the way we wash our hands, in the way we approach things. So we have a lot of offenses. So that shadow, then eventually that becomes shadow. Like the shadow of God's name gets reached a little bit, Then you can start getting your prayers in, pushing them in. And then eventually you get pure. And when you're with pure, then things work out. Things become real in this world. You don't have to, let's say, artificialize everything, right? Or make things up, scenario-wise. Don't make any scenarios up. This world is already taken care of. You just got to be a good player. Don't make anybody suffer. Make the world good and play your part the best, and help others. If you know someone that could help you, work with them. Don't I don't want him to work with me and this and that. And no, you have an opportunity. You said it yourself. You know what I'm talking to. So anyway, that's from Bhagavad Gita. And I'm going to go over to my book now for just a quick breather to understand something here. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So how's the Earth from a GNA? From GNA, how's Earth from GNA? Simple question, right? The Earth's Geo-Negative axis, devised of a planetary alignment with an energy field we can ascertain is part of the Sun, since all diminishing principles that lie on the Sun and the Earth are finite, therefore must be infinite. The realm we are all in relies on the negative or opposing on all neutral all neutral. We have to be based on something that's not us in order to exist in this reality. Because one thing comes from another. Next here, the light comes from the sun, not from us for the major instance. When we put both things as a promise, we get a more refined positive. A positive that is able to produce another double negative. It is, if we are able to recollect that energy is finite, it, as we do assume, it can be redirected and made again, and is always there in all storms, in all atoms. The inception occurs when the negative energy of the sun reaches Earth, making a double negative axis that makes all things come to be. The sun, we aren't sure. If it is negative fully, being we don't operate there. Also, if the sun is both when it works, when it reaches here, it is negative as it supplies the earth with all. The visible aspect of its nature is parts of consciousness, which let us know it is assisting, therefore, negative. It is what relies on the operational warmth and energy and visibility. So we can see that there is a triple um, negative. So the energy aspect of it may be coming from the Earth's force that is naturally negative, as in the nature, as in the influence of force that is naturally negative, as in the Earth, the influence of the Earth is negative, which is natural tendency of discrepancy of dispensation on usable materials. The Earth may have inhabitants that last very long, almost infinite to what we know. And other forms of less reliance on negativity or being able to function from a negative mainly. There is also you serve the God, there he gets satisfied, and helps you as he can. So here it is a positive regard type realm. If we went ancient spiritual, most of the Roman Empire throughout was devout worshippers of the sun. The inception of the process makes a pervasive nature here on the inception as we are stricken to the force. Therefore, of it pulling us up and upward, or even pulling us force upward, or even following us to the stand and erect in the same force that pulls us down from the sun, and from the Earth's gravitational pull we erect. The Earth is, however, more presiding for us, and it does loose to pull as we move away from it, and we begin to float and move through the stratosphere. So that's pretty intense. Even though I haven't read this in a while, it's hard for me to remember what it is, but I'll tell you in a minute. Yeah, so even the Earth's gravitational pull is what it's saying is working all the way up until up into the realm of the stratosphere. So it's likened to our nature, and it's not something that we can crack overnight and say, hey, how are we going to get rid of this? Like a lot of people would like to. But what it does tell us is that there's a formation going on with double negatives, and it has a lot to do with us. It has so much to do with us that we don't even ascertain, and we need to approach it in a more serious format. The fact that we are dealing with negatives and positives, and it makes life a lot easier. Actually, the AI they have now is a lot of gross stuff because they're running direct instead of running indirect and running with the energy congruent. They would be getting influences that don't hurt people. And also magnetics. They should be working with magnetics and not direct impulse. So basically, what is stated there is that in this world, it is already set up on a double negative axis. You don't have to apply your positive regard, right? By doing that, you're saying, forget about the double negative axis, forget about how things work, reliant and efficient, how this planet can work together. Let's just go throw our trash in the ocean. Forget about garbage. Forget about recycling. That's what it says. So the double negative axis is really teaching people how to recycle on every level. Not only that, your emotions, your activities. Try to understand that you can recycle those and bring them to yourself and make them feel harnessed within you so you could accomplish things. You understand? It's not impossible. But it's going to take a lot of research and a lot more work and a lot of me, reading these books over and over still. I see I needs it, so just, that kind of caught me off guard. Those were hard passages, but it shows you how much I need to sharpen up because that's considerable content right there. All right, so I'll let you go with that, and if you have any questions, feel free, and we should be able to answer them for you if you didn't understand anything. Okay, take care. Thank you.